dads. They weren't missing out on anything. I would have traded anything for a mother. I would have offered my soul to make my father disappear. Instead, I got older, and he got drunker, while I went hungry. The assistance checks were spent at the liquor store down the street moments after being ripped from the envelope. Sometimes he'd leave a 5 on the table for me to buy a week's worth of food. I made do, ordering off the dollar menu and shopping the cheap food aisle at the under a buck down the block. But you can only consume so many wax paper cups of cold fast food fries and slabs of expired canned ham before you don't care if you ever eat again. I knew a lot of other girls who had nothing like me. Having a mama didn't always make their situation better. But I bet their mamas told them they looked pretty. And they got hugs at night, even if their tummies growled and their toes stuck out of the worn seam of their shoes. One day, I passed a woman not much older than my 17 years in the stairwell. She was huddled with her face in her hands, but enough of her showed that I spied a trickle of blood from her split lower lip. I handed her a clean tissue from my pocket. She wouldn't take it, wouldn't even look at me. So, I did something I never did to anyone in my building. I approached her and quietly worked my way into her space. Bending down, I cautiously put the tissue on her lip and held it there. Her eyes finally met mine, briefly, before she put her fingers over the tissue and turned her whole body away. After that, I never left my apartment without a bandage or tissues in my pocket. By the end of the day, they were mostly gone. The feeling I got from these small offerings of help made me feel both satisfied and oddly guilty. I was glad that I could help people, but I knew handing out a bandage didn't change the situation that made them bleed in the first place. It wouldn't stop them from needing another tissue for yet another split lip in a few days. But it was like I could help right now, yet not have to get mired in their whole pile of dirty laundry. There was a freeing kind of usefulness in that. But I always wondered what it said about me that I didn't want to get more involved. To help on a deeper level, I mentioned to my father, stupidly, that I figured out what to do with my life. He scoffed from his sunken spot on the couch. It's about time you put that fat ass to work. The glitter pole is hiring. I'll tell them you're 18. They'll love a freak like you. I didn't remind him that I'd turned 18 3 days before, and that my high school graduation was a week away. I didn't tell him that I was graduating with honors. That, despite everything, and because of the nothing he provided for me. I worked harder than anyone in my class, and it paid off with a GPA and testing scores good enough for me to get into pretty much any college that I wanted. I packed my duffel bag, grabbed the $100 I managed to save, and walked my fat ass to the firehouse on the other side of town and asked how I got into the paramedic program. I wanted to help people in their most urgent time of need without having to go any farther than that. I wanted to patch them up, wave goodbye, and hopefully give them a second chance at changing their life, like I was about to do. The difference between my patients and myself is that I always patched myself up. There wasn't anyone else to do it. There never had been. And the second chance, that was on me too. I dove in head first, flew through my training, and aced my tests and exams. The same firehouse that I'd approached nearly 3 years earlier hired me right out of the program. For the first time in my life, I had a family. The men and women of House 81 were my brothers and sisters, my fathers, my mothers. We took care of each other, looked out for one another. I should have listened when they said the new guy I was dating was off, that he was too clingy, too possessive, too much everything that he shouldn't have been. But for the first time, I had someone for me.